G'day everyone, Aussie Deadpool here, and I'm here to make a beginner's guide for Divinity Original Sin 2. So Divinity Original Sin 2, if you're not aware of what the game is like, it's an action RPG, and at the moment it's pulling in some massively high positive reviews all over the internet. I myself would describe the game as essentially Diablo, Skyrim, and the old turn-based Final Fantasy games that we used to play, like number 7, number 8, number 9. They had a beautiful child together in a three-way, and this is their beautiful, beautiful child. So I've put in about 70 hours into the game, and I'm only up to Act 3. So it's a big game, there's a lot to do, there's a lot of side quests to complete. So on numerous occasions I've lost track of time, and I care not to admit how many. Either way, if you love a good story-driven RPG, then you need to have this game on your wish list. The story is fantastic, the combat is a lot of fun, very strategic, and I just love it. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to be covering this guide in a couple of parts, just to make it a bit easier for people to watch. So part 1 will be about character creation and the abilities and attributes that you have at your disposal. Part 2 will be focused on group composition and combat, as they pretty much go hand in hand with each other. Part 3 will be focused on some tips and tricks I've learnt along the way, through a lot of trial and error, and a lot of saves. Either way, without waffling on or delaying any further, let's go into the character selection screen. So hit on story, and then here you've got another option, which is multiplayer, and that just allows you to play with a friend or with some friends, because your group composition in the game is of 4 characters, one of those characters being your main character and 3 companions. So one of your friends, if they've got the game and they want to play as well, they could take the position of one of your companions. The other companions, which are computer controlled, they will remain. Keep in mind as well that multiplayer allows the player controlled characters to be able to go wherever they want, so you can be in one area and your friend can be in a completely different area doing something completely different, and then you can meet up to have some fun in combat. So we'll hit single player. Now here is your 4 options for difficulty. Classic mode would be your standard normal kind of mode, which is a bit of a challenge. It's the mode I'm playing on at the moment, and it is a challenge, especially those big fights with lots of enemies. If you feel that you're smashing your head on the keyboard way too many times during games, then step down to Explorer mode. Makes the combat a little bit easier. If classic mode is just not hard enough for you, then obviously Tactician mode and Honor mode are step ups from there. So just because we're doing character creation, I'll just simply click classic and we'll hit begin. Alright, here we are at the character creation screen. So along the top you've got 6 tabs to choose from: Origins, Appearance, Preset, Talents, Tags, and Instruments. So sticking with the first one for the moment, I'll go through each tab and explain into a little bit more detail. With the Origins one, this is where you choose your race. So over here you can choose your gender, male, female. Over here you can toggle your armor and your helmet. Put some clothes on, love. Of the 4 races, you've got dwarves, elves, humans, and lizards. The next 4 I'll show you are just the undead versions of these 4 I've just shown you. So dwarves, elves again, human, and lizards. Keep in mind, with the undead, if you do an undead character, people will run away from you, and guards will attack you without any kind of prior knowledge. They're just going to go in and try and cut your head off. To combat that, you rip the masks off people you've killed and you wear them. So think like Superman with the glasses and Clark Kent. That will get you through without having to fight combat, and will help you not miss out on a lot of quests. You don't want to be missing out on them, because each quest is just fantastic. So going back to dwarves, I'll go through this little screen here and explain what it all is. So the first one here, the 2 skills that you get Petrifying Touch. The 2 green dots in that box are your action point cost. So that's how many action points it's going to cost you to use that ability. I'll go more into that kind of stuff in my combat video and group composition, and explain a bit more detail as to how that goes along. So dwarves get petrifying touch and dome of protection. So feel free to pause it, have a read if you like. As you can see, this one here with the dome of protection, it restores 8 physical armor and 8 magical armor. Not to go into too much detail in relation to that, each character has either both physical and magical armor, or one or the other, and their health bar. And to kill them, you have to go through their magical and physical, or just physical, armor to start chipping away at their health. So it becomes very strategic as to who fights what, and I'll go into a bit more detail later. So that's the abilities they come with. So Petrifying Touch for dwarves, Flesh Sacrifice for elves, Encourage for humans, and Dragon's Blaze for your lizards. With the undead, all undead races come with the same abilities, being Play Dead and Dome of Protection. Now, this one here is your talents. These are the talents that automatically come with your race when you choose it. So undead, they all come with the undead, which allows you to heal from poison. But regular healing, be potions or restoration spells, will do damage to you. So only poisons can pretty much heal the undead, and they come with other abilities. So going back to dwarf, they are sturdy and get a +1 in sneaking. Elves, Corpse Eater, which is a very cool talent. It allows you to eat body parts, and it gives you the memories of the dead. So you actually find out kind of the last moments before that owner of that limb died. Plus I also get 1 in Lawmaster with ancestral knowledge. Humans, Ingenious, gives you 2 bonus initiative, which is determines your rank in the turn order for combat, plus a 5% extra critical chance, as well as Thrifty, which is +1 in bartering. And Lizards get Sophisticated, so some resistances, and a +1 in persuasion from Spellsong. Down the bottom, we've got your build presets, which is your class, so to speak. I'll go through them. Conjurer, funnily enough, it's on. That's the one that I've done, which allows you to summon an Incarnate, which is like a big beastie dude. When you get to level 10, it becomes colossal, but otherwise it's a little imp dude. Dimensional Bolt, which is what creates a surface on the bottom underneath that person, so you can actually do other things. If you guys are interested in me doing a class-based video, please write it in the comments below, and I'd be more than happy to go into a bit more detail in relation to some of the classes that you can choose from. And then you've got some totems for conjurers. But I'll go through each one, and I'll just highlight the moves, so please feel free to pause if you need be. So as you can see, a few of the classes have the same abilities, they're just mixed and matched a little bit. And it just allows you to kind of feel for what's going to be the best class for you to play, what's going to give you the most enjoyment. Like I said, Conjurer myself is right up my alley, love it. Love being able to summon things and have extra allies on the battlefield to just annihilate people. But as you get through your classes and as you get up into your levels, you can actually start going into different trees and not trees so to speak, but more classes, and incorporate two into the one. Like I myself at the moment have a conjurer slash necromancer, so she summons big skeleton spiders and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. So just get through these for you so you can have a read of what each skill that comes with that particular class will do for you. The witches are always fun. Everyone loves a bit of a witch. Love putting people to sleep as well with chloroform. And wizards. Wizards probably quite a popular class. Now the battle mage is a pretty cool one. He's kind of got brute force along with magic. So it's kind of like a melee fighter with magic. It's pretty cool, but you could definitely sort that out yourself later on if you wanted to start tinkering into those classes. Almost finished here, just don't want to really have you guys miss out on any options, and here we are back at Conjurer. Right. Next we've got the Origins ones. So with this, Origins, they obviously come with their own name. You can change it if you want, but probably keep it the same. Here they come with their own origin stories. They come with their own talents. Not talents, sorry. Starting abilities. They come with their own. So, same classes, no issues there. Same talents as well. So what I'll do is I'll play the origin story for you and go through each one so you can have a quick listen. They're very short, but it'll give you an understanding and an idea of how their origin story is going to go through when you're playing the main story. Because if you've got your three companions, those three companions have their own origin stories. Throughout the campaign, you follow their origin stories and you do quests for those origin stories, and you kind of help them achieve what they're trying to achieve. Whether it's killing somebody or finding somebody or something along those lines. Those quests are a lot of fun. They are truly a lot of fun. So, here is the origin story for Beast.
Oh. I was just thinking about someone I used to know. My cousin. The Queen, in fact. A tyrant. I tried to stop her, but things don't always go according to plan. She cast me out to a forgotten island, and made short work of my allies too. Lucky for me, I was able to commandeer a ship, and began a new life for myself, out on the high seas. Aye, but I hear that the Queen is at it again. And there's something darker behind her madcap schemes this time. If I don't stop her, I don't know who will.
So there's Beast's origin story. Next we'll go to Fane. Now he's pretty cool and a lot of fun. So here's his origin story.
Oh, don't stare. How would you look after eons in some ghastly crypt? Your people are rather prone to death. Mine are not. Yet when I emerged from my completely unjustified imprisonment, I found them gone. Our culture forgotten. Any trace of the world I knew all but obliterated. I must even hide my true face beneath an ever-shifting mask for fear you savages will attack me. That is how I wander this strange world. Trying to uncover the truth about a history you primitive people never even knew existed.
So that's Fane's origin story. Next in line is Ifan Ben Meds, our human man. Alright, here it is.
Once I was a crusader for the Divine Order. I pledged my life to Lucian the Divine. The war changed everything. He sent me to save the elves I grew up amongst. I arrived too late. Lucian ordered the use of death fog against the Black Ring, annihilating everyone I once knew in the process. Now I'm a mercenary killer, one of the infamous Lone Wolves. And my next target is none other than Lucian's own son.
That's Ifan's one. Next is Losa.
All my life I've been a performer, a musician, beloved and celebrated by all. But I have a secret. I'm also a playground for sprites and spirits and worse. The voice that rings inside me now is darker than any that came before. Almost caused a bunch of my fans to rip each other to pieces. But you can trust me. I've got this under control. Step 1. Find out who or what is trying to take control of my mind. Step 2. Make it sorry it ever tried.
Next we've got the Red Prince.
Famed, of course, for my unique red skin and unparalleled skills as a general of the House of War, I, the Red Prince, was raised within the vast palaces of the fabled Forbidden City. I was destined to become the next emperor. But my ambitions suffered a bit of a setback when I fell from grace for cavorting with demons. Now, I'm exiled and hunted by assassins. But I assure you, I remain undaunted and as determined as ever to claim my rightful throne.
Alright, there was the Red Prince, and lucky last, Sibyl, our lovely elf. Here is her origin story.
I used to be a slave, kept under the thumb of the master, the bastard that made me hunt down my own kin. How did he do that, you ask? With the living scar you see on my cheek, this horror that takes no more than a song sung by Master Dearest to control my very thoughts. But now the tables have turned. I broke my shackles, and when I finally find him, I will make the Master sing a very different kind of song.
Alright, there's the origin stories for each one of those races. Again, they get their own special abilities that they can use during combat. Now they get these, when they become your companions, they get these abilities as well. So whoever you choose, you'll need to think as well as to how you want to go with group composition and combat. But before you start doing that, choose the class that's going to give you the most fun, that you're going to have a really good time with, and that you're going to just enjoy the game for what it is, a absolutely brilliant game. So next tab being appearance. Here you don't have a massive selection when it comes to the origin characters, you can only choose a few different things to change. So for example, with the Red Prince, he can only do his face and his hairstyle. But if we go back to origin and go to a custom character, it'll give you all the options to change. So skin color, face, hairstyle, hair color, facial features and voice. That's pretty much all pretty self-explanatory. You guys can have a little tinker when you want to play the game and choose your race. Next one is the presets. Now with the presets, this is pretty important. When I first started playing this game, I had no idea what all this meant. So I had to restart. Depending on what class you choose, the game automatically distributes attribute points, ability points, and your skills. With the attribute points, you've got your option to edit it. So you can go in there and you can say to yourself, look, I want a little bit less health, but I want a little bit more intellect, which is what's going to increase your intelligence-based weapons, or skills, sorry. And then you've got your constitution, which is your vitality. So you might want to switch them around. You might want to take one out of intelligence and put it in wits, which you can do. You can take them all out and put them all in wits if you want to. That's in relation to your attributes. Your abilities is a big one. So your abilities are split between two different categories, one being combat abilities and one being civil abilities. So depending on what you want to play as, so we'll say for argument's sake a conjurer. A conjurer conjures things, obviously. Summoning is going to be a big part of your combat ability points. So you'd want to put them in that. You've got numerous ones to choose from, so I'll go through each one very quickly here. So warfare is all your physical damage. Huntsman increases a bonus damage from when you're on high ground, and we'll go into high ground in the combat video. Scoundrel increases your movement speed and critical modifier, so it gives you 5% critical modifier plus 0.3 movement speed. Pyrotechnic increases all your fire damage. I'm not going to try and pronounce that one, but that one increases all your water and your healing abilities. That's your air damage one. Aerothermaturge, I think. Geomancer increases all poison and earth damage that you may deal. Necromancer heals you whenever you deal damage directly to vitality. Summoning obviously increases vitality, damage, and physical and magical armor of all your summons and your totems. And Polymorph gives you one free attribute point per point invested. So based on your class, depends on where you're going to go from that. They do have a max out point of 10 to 12. Then you can start putting combat points into other areas. You might want to split them up from the get-go, so next level you might not go one in summoning, you might go one in scoundrel to help increase that critical hit modifier. You might go wherever you want to go, depending on what other classes abilities you may take. When it comes to your civil abilities, this one here, when I first started, I started just kind of putting points everywhere. I'm not sure you guys are going to be as silly as I am. You do have an option later in the game to reset them all and tinker around with them for free, but when you're starting off here, it's always good to kind of have each one of your companions have a specific civil ability. One being your bartering, which is what's going to decrease the value of items when you're purchasing them and increase the value of items you're going to sell. So definitely have someone with a maxed out bartering. Humans obviously get a +1, so it can go up to 5, but you'll get a +1, and you also get that kind of stuff on gear as well. So +1 to bartering, +2 to bartering, something along those lines. Persuasion helps you in bidding in your dialogue and also increases how much a character likes you. Lucky Charm allows you to find extra treasure wherever loot is stashed. Thievery increases your lockpicking and pickpocketing skills, which you need to be sneaking at the time. Sneaking, self-explanatory, allows you to sneak without being caught. Lawmaster Lore Master allows you to identify items. So when you get a little bit further in the game, you'll start looting items that are unidentified, and you need to identify them to find out what they actually are. It'll tell you it might be a two-handed mace, but it won't tell you stats or anything. So you use your Lore Master ability to identify that item. So someone has to have a Lore Master, and you want to keep increasing that Lore Master, because as you progress through the story, the Lore Master level required increases as well. So at the start it'll be level 1, but where I'm at about now, it's level 3, level 4 I need. And then telekinesis means you can move items around. So have a little play in there, see what you want. With the combat ability, so I did just miss that there is a weapons one. So dual wielding, which would be great for your rogues and those kind of classes. Your ranged would be great for your rangers, your wayfarers, those classes. It's not for spellcasters. So it's just using bows and crossbows. Two-handed is for your casters with staves. So sword, axes, maces, spears, it increases the critical strike multiplier and damage of two-handed weapons. And then single-handed is your daggers, your swords, your axe, mace and wand. With a shield or an empty offhand. And then defensive, you've got leadership, which increases your dodging by 2% and 3% to all resistances. Reflects damage, being retribution, and perseverance restores magical armor after you recover from a frozen or stun, or physical armor after being knocked down or petrified. So that's your presets. Down the bottom here, you can change your talents. So with summoning, they're the 3 talents that it's all. Those are the 3 abilities that it's already allocated to you, but you can change it out. So you can do that, undo that, and go, I want that instead. Right? You might go, I want that, don't want that, don't want to be able to do dimensional bolt, so I want to get Farsight Infusion, which gives my Incarnate, my beast that I get to summon, a ranged ability. Now, just starting off, you'd want that so that you can actually do some elemental damage to the person as well as your beasts that you've summoned. Next tab is your talents tab. Now, with your talents tab, like I said earlier, in the Origins they get 2 automatically, so Dwarven, Guile and Sturdy. The next one is that I suggest you having as a must-have is Pet Pal. Pet Pal allows you to talk to animals, like it says there. Some of the conversations you'll have with animals are hilarious, and you get extra quests. So by not having that, unfortunately, you could miss out on a few stories that are quite funny, fun, and give you experience. I think that it'd be nice if it was just a permanent one, but so be it, it's a talent. There is a mod out there that allows you to permanently have it instead of having to use a talent point on it. I'm not sure, I've heard that it would stop any achievements occurring in the game. I'm a bit of an achievement whore, so I like getting those achievements, so I don't use the mod. But if anyone knows the direct answer to that, please comment in the comments below and let me know. There's numerous to go through. I'll let you go through them, but each one has an own individual one. These red ones here just means that you have to have a specific requirement beforehand. So elemental range being Huntsman's level 1, all skill up you need to be level 2. That just gives you extra points. A very good handy one for your next one. Next one is your tags. So Origin characters come with automatic tags that you can't get rid of. They automatically have them. By doing certain things in the game you can gain some more, but when you're doing a custom character you get to choose which ones you can go with. Now these tags just allow you to have extra dialogue options when talking to people. So when you've got your options, 1, 2, 3 and 4 of responses to that person, if you have a particular tag it may allow you to go a different path in that conversation because you've got that tag. So you could choose whichever 2 you want. You can always choose 2 because up here it'll tell you how many tags you've got available. Next one, being the last one, and this will be the end of the video as well, is instruments. So you've got 4 different instruments to choose from. These are the instruments that will be played during combat. So what I'll do is I'll play all 4 of them real quickly so you can have a listen. So that's the 4 instruments that you can choose. So in that one, choose whichever one you really like the sound of, pretty much. So that is the part 1 character creation video that I am making to help people out, get a bit of understanding as to when you're getting in the game. I kind of dove in head first and forgot to put water in the pool and crashed. So there are other videos out on YouTube that will give you a few more pointers. I just wanted to go into a little bit more depth in relation to what you can do before you actually get into the game. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time. Sorry this one's a little bit of a long-winded video. The other ones will be a lot shorter, but this is just to really kind of help you guys and girls out. I do have a Twitch channel. That's in the description below. So I love streaming this game. I'm going to be streaming shortly this in tactician mode. So if you liked the video, please give it a like. If you didn't like it, please feel free to give it a dislike. But jump on to Twitch and hit me up for a follow. I'm going to be running competitions, free games, computer parts, all that kind of stuff. As long as I get enough interest, and that's what I'm going to do. I'd love to give away things, but more importantly, I just want people to come and have a bit of fun, have a chat, have a beer or two. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. So hit the link, follow me on Twitch, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.